Dark Overlords. So Dark Overlords are a really strong and heavy energy, and they have a medium level of consciousness. This energy comes from the lower worlds but is a master in those realms. So this particular entity, like I said, it really has a strong and heavy vibration, and although it hasn't got a high level of consciousness, it does have a medium level of consciousness. So it can really play a lot of mind games. Now, the realm that this entity comes from, it's not a thought form entity. It actually is an entity from a lower world. And like I said, in that lower world, this entity actually is a master in those realms. So it does have, you know, that's the overlord type energy. It is a lord in those lower realms. So it does have a level of mastery that gives this energy a lot of confidence and a lot of ego, basically. So some of the attaching mechanisms for the Dark Overlords, it's usually depression or an angry vibe that can go on for days at a time. So if somebody's in a low depressed state or an angry vibration and it's, you know, like their natural kind of vibe, then these entities love to hang around those people. Now, I've also found that alcohol is definitely an attaching mechanism for most entities. And I also find it really interesting that when it comes to spirits, alcohol spirits seem to be the worst. And I find that really interesting that they are called spirits. So I wonder where that name actually came from, because drinking spirits does allow spirits to attach, which I find really quite interesting. Now, they also love to attach to anyone who's feeling very lost and isolated. So, you know, depression, anger, lost, isolation, add some alcohol in there and you've got a very, very attractive combination for these energies. Now, these energies, if they're going to attach to an animal for food source, so if they're hanging around a home and they can't find an entry point to attach to somebody, they will actually attach to an animal. And they will basically create an issue between the people in the home. So let's just say that it might create a fight between the owners, and this will create confusion and stress within the animal. And that confusion and stress is the attaching mechanism for this to attach to the animal. So if everyone's in an alright vibration and this energy hasn't found a way to attach, it will be very clever and quite manipulating in creating some sort of drama that will create at least enough stress within the animal to attach. Now, obviously, if it's created a fight between the owners and that has created one of the people to go into a low vibrational state because of that fight, then this entity would definitely choose to attach to the person rather than the animal. The animal is a lower food source for these energies because they just don't create the same vital force energy. They have a lot of vital force energy, but they don't create it in the same way that we do, because animals don't have the same thoughts and emotions that create a much more charge around vital force energy. So because humans actually create a lot of vital force energy with their minds and emotions, these energies like to attach to us a lot more. Now, it does love depression and low vibrations, but it also creates this vibration and amplifies it around the home. So what you'll find is that these energies love lower vibrations, but they also create them as well. So, you know, if they're around a home and somebody's not in a low vibrational state, these energies just hanging around the home will actually start to animate those lower vibrations into the home, which will then the person will then pick up on and maybe match those vibrational tones, and then that will allow the energy to attach. If somebody's strong enough in their vibration and this energy starts coming around and putting those vibrations out into the air and into the atmosphere, that person, if they're strong enough, can hold their own vibration and that entity will realize that this person's not someone that they can weaken easily, and they'll go somewhere else quite quickly. They won't try and keep penetrating someone who's quite strong in their vibrational tone and can hold their vibration even if there's other static stuff around. So it is important to train ourselves into holding our own vibrational state, so we don't allow other vibrations to take us off center and then allow things to attach. So it is a very sneaky maneuver these energies like to use by creating a lot of lower vibrational energies in someone's home, hoping to, you know, kind of knock them off center and then attach. So, you know, kind of like a little trickster that they have going on. Now, the result in a person if a Dark Overlord attaches, once this energy attaches, it usually loves the kidneys to hide in. So the kidneys are its favorite space to hide. This energy is very, very heavy and dark. So the person usually starts to get lower back pain or kidney pain. They will feel depressed or a deep sense of heaviness unless this energy is in hibernation. So this energy can hide. If it's in hibernation, then they can basically hide quite deep, and they will like to hide in the kidneys. The kidneys are like a cave to hide in. So this energy can go into the kidneys and into hibernation, or it can be in the kidneys and active. If it's active, that's usually when people feel the pain in their kidneys or lower back, and depression can come about. Now, if they need to feed, that's usually when they can be really uncomfortable and create depression and tiredness. But once, like I said, once they're in hibernation, everything settles down and the person thinks it's all good again. And then it will reactivate and it will happen all over again. The people who this energy hosts in will usually think they're getting kidney infections or lower back issues. The person will also feel like a dark lens has come over them when this energy is activated. They will feel themselves being more critical and more reactive when this energy is activated. So the hibernation allows this energy to live for a long time inside of someone. And I have had times where I've removed this energy from someone who this energy has been in their kidneys for close to 20 years. So sometimes I've found them to be hibernating and hiding for a very, very long time. Now, when I've found this energy in someone that's been there for a very long time, when I've spoken to the person will usually tell me that they've been to almost every specialist that they can find to try and figure out what the problem is. But it's usually a problem that comes down to having a mystery illness of some sort. When I've removed these things, all the issues have cleared up. It can take a few weeks for the issues to clear up once this energy is removed, if it's been there for a long time. But once this energy is removed, the kidneys have enough vital force energy to actually come back on board and start to heal themselves. So when I first started removing this energy via hands-on healing, and I first came across Dark Overlords, it used to take me a long time to move this energy. It could sometimes take me an hour in a hands-on healing to actually remove this energy properly. It was like a really black, gooey substance that was very dense and could not be separated. So I'd have to take the time to actually pull it all out together, and it was very, very slow moving, very dense and very dark and really, really hard to move. So it was a very, very slow, time consuming process of getting this energy out quite slowly and all together. And like I said, it was a really thick, gooey, dark substance. It has the same kind of gooiness to the Changeling Collective energy that I'm going to talk about later. But the difference is that this stuff is definitely much more dense, definitely more dark and heavy, and it moves really, really slowly. So removing this energy via the Akashic Records, we're not going to have the same one-on-one experience. You won't be feeling these energies. But it's handy to know that each one does have personality. Some entities have a collective personality, but some have individual personalities. And this energy is one of them that has an individual personality. And sometimes when I've been removing these particular energies via hands-on work, sometimes I've come across some that aren't quite in their full power. Sometimes I've come across this energy where it's actually been very confused and quite stuck in this reality. Some of them are very powerful, very onto it, and very confident, but occasionally you will come across some dark overlords that aren't actually that confident, and they're a bit more confused in this reality. So when I've come across them in this state, I've always removed them with lots of love and compassion, because I kind of got to the stage where I understood and could see that even the darkest light spectrums can still feel. These particular entities that have individual consciousness can actually feel. They still have feelings and they still have emotional tones. So sometimes you can come across ones that just feel really confused and lost, and you will feel that, you have a lot of compassion for them, because you can understand how difficult it would be to operate in this reality as such a dark, dense form of light who needs to feast on others. It wouldn't be a nice reality to have to uphold, and sometimes they can enjoy this reality, and other times they can just be lost and confused. Now, this is another energy that can hide deep within someone's inner world and can be hiding deep within their inner world for lifetimes. It's another energy that can hibernate, and can hibernate for lifetimes as well. So this is just one of those entities that actually can lay dormant inside of someone for a very, very long time. And once again, if it is hibernating, we can't actually go looking for them unless the person has peeled back enough layers to be exposing that hibernating entity.